Ladies and gentlemen, people of the world, children of all ages, we are back. It is Soul, it is Soul of the Skull, and it is bye-week edition. Here we're going to be taking a look at the Minnesota Vikings as we sit on the Week 13 bye. The Vikings are coming off of a brutal loss in Week 12 on Monday Night Football, which we did an episode recapping that. So if you want to hear us talk about the Vikings and Bears game, go check that out. We did a post-game show live after that game. So here we're going to take a look at the state of the Vikings. Where do they stand here? Where should they go from here? And a couple other things, and then we'll have a couple other games. And then, of course, we'll get into picks and predictions per usual. So with that said, we can make this almost like a game recap. We're going to go around and we're going to share your biggest takeaway from this season. And yeah, I don't really have anything yet, so if anyone else wants to start it, they can just share kind of a thought that you have about the season and the way it's gone, and yeah.
Turnovers. They're killing us.
They average like 2 a game, I saw today.
They're -8 on a turnover ratio this year. The defense has not forced too many turnovers, and the offense gives up way too many. You clean those up, the Vikings are, 9-3 team?
8-4, 7-5.
I would go with 8-4 there.
Right.
I'd say resilient.
6-6 heading into the bye. I mean, that Bears game is definitely one you'd like to win. Now you're probably going to have to win 4 of your last 5, or probably 3 of your last 5 to get into the playoffs. That puts you at 9-8. Obviously, you'd rather be 10-7, but I think, your goal is you probably have to beat Detroit once, beat the Bengals and the Raiders, and then take care of the Packers. Split with Detroit would be the best scenario, and you're in. Otherwise, you lose both games of the Lions, you're still probably in. So I think the biggest part with this is going to be the quarterback and how that shapes up.
Yeah, with how the Lions have been looking lately, I think splitting with them is definitely possible.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say this team is very resilient, losing Kirk, losing Jefferson, and still finding ways to win and to stay afloat at 6-6. This team has battled through adversity, and now you have an opportunity to, as you said, go 4 or 5, split with the Lions, and have an opportunity to make the playoffs. But you got to clean up the mistakes, as Big Lou said. There's still an opportunity here, and that can't be forgotten.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I kind of came up with 2 takeaways, actually. So one of my main takeaways is that this team has overcome a lot of adversity, but I'm also not saying they've done it in a good or bad way, because they've done good things, they've done bad things. I mean, we've been seeing that here all year. Obviously, the Kirk Cousins injury and Justin Jefferson and so many things have just gone wrong, and they've done a lot of things to fix these, whether they're good or bad, because like we've said, there have been some good and there have been some bad too. So that's one of my takeaways, is just how they've overcome adversity. My other takeaway that I have was they are still consistently inconsistent. They're the same Vikings we've been seeing for years now. I've talked on my own channel back before this podcast existed just about how I personally am not a fan of the Vikings being like 8-8 every year, because that's what it feels like they do. Every year they're just a middle of the road team. They never have like a super deep playoff run, or I should at least say they never have a real chance at like a Super Bowl, at least not in my eyes, but they're also not like a bottom 5 team in the league. And really throughout their entire history, they've never been that way. And I mean, we look at the 70s era with Bud Grant and whatnot, and they were a top team then. They were never able to win a Super Bowl. But overall, this team has been a very mediocre team historically. And that's kind of how I still feel about them right now. I mean, we look at them at the bye, they're 6-6, and with a lot of question marks, but they're not good enough to make a playoff run, and they're also not bad enough to have like a top 5 pick this year. So they're just the same team they've always been, and that's what I take away from this team.
I think you hit it pretty good. I mean, those Bud Grant teams were solid. I had the chance to watch a History of the Vikings documentary. It's like a 7-part series by John Boyce on YouTube. It's a really good series. You guys, all our viewers, you guys shall go check it out. It's a great listen. But yeah, this team I watched, they have in their history, they have one of the, I think it's a top 3 win to loss differential in their history, and
Yep, in
all
franchise.
the teams above them have all won a Super Bowl, at least a couple Super Bowls, and the Vikings have it.
They're 7th overall in franchise record. I did a speech on this beginning of the year in one of my classes. It was a roast of the Minnesota Vikings.
What class did you? What class?
Fundamentals speech.
Oh,
they
fun.
are 7th in franchise win percentage, and the team below them, I believe the top 16 teams besides the Vikings have won the Super Bowl, and they're 7th. So
yeah, I mean, here's your point there. Ever since the '98 season, I mean, pretty much. I mean, they have three NFC Championship appearances since then. No Super Bowl appearances, and I mean, they're a consistent playoff team. Just can't get over the hump. But that's a completely different topic story. I don't know. Not a ton to talk about on the bye week, obviously.
One thing that I can applaud the Vikings for doing is in the NFL right now through 2023, the Vikings average 4.8 penalties per game. They're ranked number 2 in the NFL. The Raiders are ranked number 1 with 4.7. And if you look at yardages from penalties, they're in the bottom 5 with only 444 yards of penalties given up.
So with that said, I think that now we can probably look around a bit. Look around this team now that we have what? 6? No, not 6. How many games left?
5.
Maybe it is 6.
5 games left. There's 6 weeks left.
Okay. They have 5 games left. So obviously the big topic here coming off of Monday's game is the quarterback position. What do the Vikings do from here? So we've seen Josh Dobbs, and so Josh Dobbs with the Vikings, he's 85 for 128. So he's completed 66.4% of passes, 832 yards, 5 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. So we've seen he can have lots of high spots like we saw his first couple weeks in quarterback, and he's had some low spots, which have been the past couple weeks at quarterback. Then they have Jaron Hall, who they just drafted in the 5th round out of BYU. This season, he's thrown 10 passes, completed 8 of them. He's at 101 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. So sample size, very small. Probably have to go back to college to find more relevant information on him. And then they have another guy that most people I don't think really talk about. It's Nick Mullins. People kind of forget he's on this roster, I think, sometimes. In his career, Nick Mullins has completed 65% of his passes. He's got just about 5,100 yards, 27 touchdowns, 23 interceptions. So he's a career backup, but he can be, I'd say when they signed him, this is what I thought, is that Nick Mullins is a career backup, but he can be a starter for a couple games if you need, but he's never going to be a substantial long-term. Your quarterback's out 10 games. You need someone to finish the season. He's just like a 1 or 2 game filler. So I think we can go around and share what would you do at quarterback, or what would, if you guys were the coaches here, what would you do? We kind of did voice this a little bit on Monday, but still, if it was up to me, I would play Jaron Hall, assuming he's completely healthy. I don't think they have anything to lose anymore. I don't see any real reason why not to. Either it's a win-win situation, the Vikings play really well and they find whether he's a good or bad quarterback, or it's a win-lose, but in my mind, it's still a win. The team is bad, but we find out whether Jaron Hall is good or not. So either way, I'm completely fine throwing him out there and seeing what you got in him. I don't think they have anything to lose at this point.
I'll go next, I guess. I agree. It's I think the Vikings should start Jaron Hall against the Raiders. That doesn't mean they will, but I think Jaron Hall's the right guy to go with here. I mean, you know what you're going to get out of Dobbs. You know what you're going to get out of Mullins. And frankly, I mean, really, if you want to play the safe option and just go with consistency, I'd start Mullins. But I think this team has nothing to lose, and starting Hall, I think, is the right thing to do in this situation. But, I mean, we haven't seen Dobbs with Jefferson yet. I don't think that really changes much, honestly. Obviously, JJ's a great receiver, but, I mean, Dobbs still has to get the ball to him. I think just roll out Jaron Hall, see what happens. Maybe give Nick Mullins a little bit of a look too. But like you said, Nick Mullins is a career backup. And when the Vikings traded for him, they had backups that were Kellen Mond and Sean Mannion, 2 guys who are probably practice squad quarterbacks. So I like the trade at the time, but I think it's time to give Jaron Hall a look, a serious look. Give him a game, give him a half. I mean, he was slated to play the entire Falcons game until he got hurt. I liked what I saw out of the drive. I like some of the stuff I saw out of him preseason, but you got to see what you got.
Yeah, I think Dobbs is started out good, but he's starting to slide down. So I think these next 2 weeks will very much tell who will be the starter in practices. But I currently think that Jaron Hall and Dobbs will both play in the next game, and one will start. And then if they're not doing good, they will be replaced. And if they're doing good, they will stay.
That's interesting. Treat it like a preseason game. Give a half to each guy. That's actually
You don't
kind of
see
an
a lot
intriguing
of
idea.
a two-quarterback system in the NFL. That would be a very interesting option the Vikings could do there.
I mean, I wouldn't say it's necessarily guaranteed that you're going to play half, you're going to play half. It's you're going to start the game. If you start sucking, you will be replaced.
I think Big Lou should be the head coach of the Minnesota Vikings.
I mean, Big Lou's cooking a little bit right there. You see that a lot in college. It's
even in high school ball, it's like you stop playing good, you're going to be replaced. There's someone else to replace you. Now in the NFL, there's a big difference between the top quarterbacks and the bottom quarterbacks. So understandably, if they're having a bad game, you're not necessarily going to put your backup in because they don't have the experience and probably do worse.
I think if you start Jaron Hall, you have to give him the whole game just to see what he's got. I think
I'd agree.
Unless he comes out and throws 4 interceptions in the first half, like at Nathan Peterman style, but I think you haven't seen anything out of Hall in the regular season. I think you got to give him a game if you're going to start him, and then you evaluate after the game. If he plays great, keep rolling with him. If not, maybe look at Dobbs again or possibly Nick Mullins.
See, this wouldn't be a Soul of the Skull episode if I didn't bring in my Kirk Cousins hate at least once. So I'm going to. The situation the Vikings are in quarterback-wise right now is kind of like it is with Kirk Cousins in drafting a quarterback. I see fans all the time that when the Vikings look at drafting quarterback in the first round, I see fans say, well, what if they're substantially worse? What if it's a complete bust? And I understand that. But what if they're the next Patrick Mahomes? And how are you going to know that unless you look out for that? And I'm not saying Jaron Hall is going to be Patrick Mahomes in any way, shape, or form. But here's the thing. We've seen Nick Mullins play. We've seen Josh Dobbs play. We know what we can get out of them, but we haven't seen Jaron Hall play. Sure, he can be substantially worse, and there's a chance that happens. But there's also a chance he could be substantially better, and that is what I want to see them do. I want to see them take the risk, just like how I want to see them draft a quarterback to be the predecessor to Kirk Cousins. So that's what I think about that one there.
I mean, traditionally the Vikings are not very good at selecting quarterbacks, it seems. And they're very good at selecting wide receivers.
Well, that's also Rick Spielman he's fairly good at drafting, but at quarterbacks, no.
I thought Christian Ponder was okay.
Christian Ponder was okay for a year or two, and then we forget about the rest.
Last year.
Sometimes I forget Kellen Mond exists. I'm not going to lie. I forgot about it.
Well, Kellen Mond was a 3rd-round pick, so you didn't really waste that much draft capital with him. So I don't really consider that a terrible – well, it wasn't a great pick, but it wasn't – I don't think it was like a terrible pick. I mean, Spielman did select Teddy Bridgewater, and, Teddy, I thought – I mean, he looked like the future, and obviously an injury happened, and so unfortunate. But, I mean, you look at rookie quarterbacks, you look at these guys, and, there are a bunch of them that don't succeed, but you have to look at this a lot of times the situation they're going into. The worst teams have the first overall pick. I mean, the Browns have just had a terrible franchise for all those years. They're starting to get better now, but no wonder all those quarterbacks sucked. I mean, the Vikings do have a good situation here the quarterback you do take, whether it's like a Drake May, a Michael Penix, a JJ McCarthy, a Bo Nix, a Jaden Daniels, the list goes on and on and on. But they would be coming to a good situation with guys like Jefferson. You have an established line, great defense. So it's not like they'd be coming to a team that has nothing. I mean,
it's not
this team could be a great spot for a rookie quarterback. And I think that is just one of the many reasons you need to go get a quarterback in this draft.
Well, you wouldn't be putting the quarterback in a CJ Stroud situation where he's got nothing. You got Adam
Other than
Thielen
Tank
that
Dell
throw to,
and him, the Texans aren't really that good,
I think the
in my opinion.
Texans are a young team, though.
yeah,
I like
They
what they're
can be
doing.
really good.
I like
and
what
they
they're doing
will
over
be
in
really
Houston
good,
right
probably.
now. But
they'll be good probably the next 3-4 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So with that, I'm going to almost transition us a little bit, but not exactly. So around Twitter, I've been seeing that I've seen reports that the Vikings have done work on a couple first-round quarterbacks next year, namely J.J. McCarthy and Jaden Daniels. Now, I personally don't watch really any college football because I don't have the time for it, and it's pretty safe to say Big Lou probably does not watch college football either. With that said, I'm going to bring this to Sam and Mr. James Charles. Is there any thoughts you guys have on Jaden Daniels and J.J. McCarthy? Because I know virtually nothing about them.
James, if you want to speak on Jaden Daniels, if you have anything to say on him, I'll let you do that right now because I have a bunch to say on JJ.
I was going to say, he's a Michigan fan, so Sam's
the
going to know.
few things about JJ McCarthy, I know. I mean, he's in a good situation to where he doesn't need to do much, but JJ McCarthy can throw some dimes. He did it against Ohio State. He's got decent ball placement. He's fairly accurate with the ball. He does make a couple bad decisions from time to time. And I'm sure you got a lot more to say than just that. But Jaden Daniels, he started his career out at Arizona State and was average, and he goes to LSU and one of the high-powered offenses. He's the first quarterback since, I think, Joe Burrow. No, not Joe Burrow, but he threw for 40 touchdowns and ran for 10 touchdowns this year. He's had multiple games over 100 rush yards and multiple games with 350 plus, 400 plus yards passing. He's had his great receivers and Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas. So you put him in a situation where he's going to be throwing to Jefferson and Addison. That's a pretty good college equivalent going into the NFL. But yeah, Jaden Daniels, very athletic. I think he'd be a good fit here in Minnesota. And as you guys were all...
Sorry. You can finish what you were saying first.
Well, I was going to say, as you guys said, any quarterback coming in here is coming into a good situation. And I don't see a lot of quarterback run in the Minnesota offense. Bringing a guy like Jaden Daniels in would allow you to put in a little more option plays. But even a guy like Bo Nix, I think he would be a middle-of-the-pack guy. I don't think he's going to be going too early, so that's definitely a name to keep an eye on too come draft time. But, yeah, I'm sure whoever ends up in Minnesota as a quarterback next year, we're going to be just fine.
You did kind of answer my question. I was just going to ask what kind of a quarterback is he? Like, is he a pocket quarterback like we've seen Kirk Cousins, or more of a hybrid or more of a rushing quarterback? But you kind of answered it.
Yeah, he can extend plays, and that's when he's at his most dangerous.
Yeah, I just can't imagine the Vikings. Imagine the Vikings having Jaden Daniels and the Wolves having Jaden McDaniels. That would just be like just all the Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, I mean, I think James hit it right on the head with Jaden Daniels. I mean, he is a little raw still, but that's going to be pretty much every quarterback coming into the NFL. You're not going to get guys that are all 100% NFL ready. When it comes to J.J. McCarthy, he's a guy who I've watched every snap he's played in the Michigan uniform. I've even watched his high school highlights. I mean, he's a guy who's improved, who's gotten better every single year he's been here. In 2021, he had a split role with Cade McNamara, who's now the Iowa quarterback, who's out for the season because he got hurt. But he played in a split role. He probably got 25% of the snaps, and he was used in more like running option situations. 2022, he takes over as the starting quarterback. He was good, not great. This year, I've seen he's elevated his game to a whole nother level, and he's a guy who doesn't turn the ball over. He threw 3 interceptions against Bowling Green. I think that was more just a fluke. Other than that, he's thrown 1 interception all year, so the guy does not turn the ball over. He's great off schedule when he has to roll out of the pocket. He can hit guys on the run, but he's also a good pocket passer, and he can hit guys he can really push the ball downfield when needed. And the reason he doesn't have the numbers that a guy like Jaden Daniels might is because Michigan is a run-first team. But the option of J.J. McCarthy has allowed them to get away from that a little bit. Not that they're still a great rushing offense, just not as good as they were last year. And J.J. can really push the ball downfield to some guy. I mean, he doesn't have great receivers. Roman Wilson's his best receiver. He's going to be an NFL draft pick in the coming years probably. He's got a great tight end in Colson Loveland, but other than that, not a ton of guys to throw to. And, Michigan's great off play action. That's something that the Vikings tend to be good off of too. So, again, a guy to get in to work with KOC. And, obviously Kwesi has connections to Jim Harbaugh. So I think the Vikings are really going to evaluate him. Footwork isn't the best, and there is definitely some things to improve on JJ. The last thing I am going to say, however, is that I'm still not 100% convinced JJ is going to commit to the NFL draft. I was listening to one of my Michigan podcasts yesterday, and the host said that he thinks it's a 50-50 chance JJ returns to school. I think it's more like a 75% chance he goes to the NFL draft, but I think there still is a chance that, especially if Michigan loses either in the Big Ten championship or in a college football playoff game, that JJ will return to school for one more crack at this thing. So not 100% that JJ is going to the NFL draft, but those are my thoughts on him.
Awesome. Anyone else got any really thoughts on the Vikings or anything? Otherwise, I think we can kind of keep it going.
I have nothing else to say.
Okay, I'm going to call in an audible and vote that we do predictions and game picks first, and then we can go back to the other stuff, and then we can see how much time we have after we do that. Anyone else agree with that? All right, cool. So I'm going to share my screen. All right, here is the spreadsheet. These are the predictions that came off the board. I already kind of did go over them on Monday, so I'm not going to read through them, but as we work through our new predictions, you guys can read them if you want. But here we go. Should we go around the room, or should we just go all at once?
We can just send it all at once.
Send it all at once. All right. I'll do all mine, but I'll go one by one with them. But y'all get the picture. So here we go. So my first prediction is that Jaron Hall, Nick Mullins, and Josh Dobbs will all record at least one snap from this point forward. The rest of the year, they're all going to get at least one snap from scrimmage. Maybe that's, I don't know, maybe that's a check down. Maybe it's not. I didn't really think it was, because it is 3 quarterbacks after all. But I think they all deserve at least somewhat of a shot. But really, Jaron Hall should get the playing time. So that's that. Moving on, I said the Vikings will finish under 500. I'm sorry, but they're just not that exciting of a team anymore, like they were at first. So we'll see how it shakes out. And then my third and final prediction is kind of a fun one. I said Matt/James will not beat Sam Z in game picks any point this season.
Joel, the funny thing is I was thinking of doing that exact same prediction.
So currently, to this point, the rule we made on the show is that Matt can lose the James Charles name after he beats Sam Z in game picks a week. And he has not done it all year. He's tied him, but he hasn't beaten him. And if they tie, this prediction still counts. So it's only if he beats him. He has to have more. So the entire year, sorry, Matt, you're not going to beat him. Anything to say about that?
I think I've beaten him before.
Really?
But I know
that happened, yeah.
I didn't think you did at all.
I think week like 1 or 2 we did.
Oh, that was ages ago.
Yeah.
All right, Sam Z is not on this episode. He's doing homework, so he will eventually have predictions in there, and you guys will see him next Wednesday when we have our next episode. But now it's Big Lose time. You want me to do this?
Yeah, we can.
All right, you want me to go one by one again?
Yes.
Sounds good. Let's do it.
So my first one is kind of a check down after what we've been talking, but Josh Dobbs will not play the whole game in week 14.
All right.
Simple as that. At least one of us will have a perfect week in game picks this season. We've gotten close. I think the most is 3 wrong, but I feel it coming. And then my last one is the Vikings will have -5 or higher turnover ratios by the end of the season, and they're currently at -8.
I love how Big Lou already has a turnover ratio one, I'm pretty sure. Didn't you make one another time?
I have the Vikings will have less than 8 turnovers.
Oh, that's point differential. Never mind.
And point differential.
I was looking at the point differential one. I thought you had a turnover ratio one too, but
no, I have the one about the Vikings will have less than 8 turnovers. I predicted that last week, and they already have 4.
All right. We'll keep it going over here. We got James Charles. You want to do it yourself?
I can do my own.
Sounds good.
All right. The first one, we're going to go into the college realm. Iowa has a big game this week against Michigan, and Iowa is ranked third in the country in terms of when it comes to punts per game at 6.7. And on the road, they average 7 punts a game. So that will happen this week, this Saturday, when they play in the Big Ten championship game.
That's Big Ten football for you.
I think Torrey Taylor is one of the best punters in the country as well.
He's a game changer.
They got a great punter at Iowa, which is
on no wonder if they're punting the whole
if you're punting
game
7 times a game. Jalen Hurts will have 2 tush-push touchdowns against San Francisco. This kind of feels like a check down. I know he's due for 1 at least, but 2, I don't know, it feels on the edge and being adventurous. My third prediction is Lewis Cine will record a tackle putting an end to the bust label given by some people on this podcast.
That's me. I will own it. He's a bust.
Just because he snapped his leg, you get to parade that he's a bust.
He also should have been playing before that, but he wasn't. Whatever. That's a whole debate that we can have another time. We've already hashed this out many times on here.
Who's we?
Me and everybody else. So it's everybody else versus me. But I don't care. He's a bust.
Say it to his face.
Lewis Cine, you are a bust. All right.
You want to uncover mine? My first one is also college football related. And it is that this college football playoff this year will consist of these 4 teams, not necessarily in this order, but I put them in order. It's Georgia, Michigan, Oregon, and Texas. So that's my prediction for the college football playoff. I had to throw a little college football in there. Go ahead. The next one is there will be 9+ head coaching vacancies this offseason. So I believe it was said that there's a possibility of 7 to 10. So I'm taking the higher side of that. I think there'll be at least 8. But I think 9. I think there's going to be 9+.
Okay, actually, I have a question relating to that. So we've seen like the Raiders fired Josh McDaniels. Does that technically count or no? Because if they hire their interim coach as whoever it is as the long-term coach, does that still count or no?
Oh, as of now, there's the interim tag. I would still consider that vacant.
Okay, good point.
I agree with that.
Yeah. If it gets taken off, it's not vacant anymore. So
it's a good point.
I mean, Jeff Saturday was given an opportunity to coach. Do we really think he was going to hold on to that long term?
Well, when you give up a 33-point lead, I think that's
what happens when you play Kirk Cousins. I mean, no lead to say. And Matt Ryan's your quarterback as well.
Yeah,
fair point. Is that Sprite Cranberry?
Yes, sir. This last prediction of yours.
Yeah. Jaron Hall will play in some capacity versus Las Vegas. So whether that means they start Dobbs, which honestly I think is probably what's going to happen. But I think Jaron Hall will play in some capacity versus the Raiders. I think it's a great game to play Jaron Hall too. I mean, the Raiders aren't a great team. They're starting Aiden O'Connell at quarterback. So it's not like they're a powerhouse. They got a decent defense, but
what if they put 2 quarterbacks in, like on a goal line situation? I mean, we saw kind of a wildcat formation. You put 2 quarterbacks in.
I like the idea, but I don't know what it is about that. It just kind of feels too risky to pull off in the NFL.
In college sometimes.
I agree, but it'd kind of be funny.
Johnny Manziel lined up at receiver once.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So with that said, that is all of our predictions. Again, Sam Z will have some eventually. I hate to say it, but Mr. Sam O, that is arguably one of the biggest checkdowns I've ever seen. But we'll see.
I don't know, Joel. You said some other big checkdown.
Joel, you have checked.
I'm not running away from the fact I have. What I did one time. What was the one I said the one time? Oh, what was it? I was gonna say Justin Jefferson will not play this week. That was like last week.
Would it be less of a check down if I say Jaron Hall will start?
Yes.
Okay, you can change it to that.
I mean, that's about as much of a check down as mine, so I'm fine with just leaving it.
What one's yours?
The
me go
Josh
back to it.
Jobs will not play the whole game.
That's not. I don't think that's a check down though.
No, that's not.
Big Lou, I don't think yours is, because yeah,
You could get benched.
he could get benched, or yeah, if Jaron Hall starts the whole game and Josh Dobbs doesn't touch a football, then you'd be correct, wouldn't you be?
Yes. I'm just saying Josh Dobbs will not play every snap at quarterback.
Yeah, I don't think that's too bad of a check down there. I think that's fine.
All right.
Okay, so with that said, here's our standings. Sam O is still in the lead at 50. He's had 4 come off. Then we've got Sam Z behind him, the check down king, and he's not on today, so he can't defend himself. Me and Big Lou are neck and neck, and then we have got James under the 25% line. It's brutal.
Do we want? So what are we gonna do next? Are we gonna do the more discussion, or are we gonna do a little trivia? And
I think
after
we
this?
can. What if we unveil game picks all at once, and then we can quick run through those, and then we can do maybe a round of trivia, or we'll see.
Because I got a section of top 5 and a section of trivia set up. So
all right, let's do it. So here we go. All of them at once. Sam Z hasn't done his yet, but he'll get his eventually. We all go Dallas Thursday night. We split with Denver and Houston.
All right. I think that'll be a good game.
yeah, that's a toss-up game. They're both. They're both decent teams. They're fighting for playoff contention, so it'll be a good fight.
I just went Denver in the end because Denver's been riding a hot streak, and I think it'll continue against Houston.
Houston's been having a pretty good streak here too, but
Yeah, I went with Houston because even though they lost last week, I mean, they were still the same team they've been for the past couple weeks now. It looked like they hadn't missed a beat. They're a different team now than the old Texans we all know. So, yeah, all right. We all take Houston. Nope. We all take Atlanta, I meant. We all take Pittsburgh. We all not take Indy. We got James taking the Titans over the Colts. Is that because of Jonathan Taylor?
No.
Anything you want to elaborate on, or should I just move
I
on?
just need the time.
Okay. All of us go with the Chargers over the Pats. Bill Belichick will not last the season. Well, maybe he'll last the season, but he ain't going to make it to next year in New England.
well, and the Chargers are finally got their whole team back together.
I should have made a prediction about Bill Belichick and his head coaching career, but sometime I will, unless someone else does it first. All right. We got all of us take Miami over the Commanders. I shouldn't say commies, probably.
No, you should not take
Sorry,
Colts.
guys. Dolphins over the Commanders. We all take Detroit to bounce back against the Saints, the Panthers and Bucks. 3 of us go Tampa. We got Sam O going with the 1-10. Aren't they 1-10?
Yeah.
Panthers?
I just think it'd be hilarious.
I mean,
I think I just think they catch a spark with their new head coach for a game like the Wild did last night or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
so I saw this post today. Mathematically, the Panthers can host a playoff game still.
Yeah, they can still win the division.
Because the NFC South is awful.
Yep. I think their guaranteed playoff spot should be forfeited.
I think maybe we've talked about it on here before, but maybe we haven't. The NFL should do away with the current structure they have in the playoffs, I think. And I think all sports, well, maybe not all sports, but there are a lot of sports that this issue exists with. If there's one bad division, and if there's like a wild card team that's better than them, why are they hosting a playoff game? Or even why are they even in the playoffs to start with? So
I think you still have to send. I think you have to send a division winner to the playoffs.
Okay,
I agree with that.
Hosting. I don't disagree. They should just do it straight up records. Well, without, how do I say this? Keep the division winners, but out of the teams that are like eligible, then after you have your eligible teams, forget records. Or, well, not forget records. I meant
Forget
records.
divisions and go with
Forget
records.
divisions and yes to records. That's what they should do. So that Falcons or whatever team wins that division is the number 7 and not the number 4. That's, I think, how it should be, but they're never going to change it. They're never going to be able to change it. They wouldn't get the owners to do that. I don't even know if they can change that. Well, they probably could, but whatever. So that's that. Browns and Rams. We got 3 going LAR, and we got 1 going with the Browns in DTR. Why are you going with the Browns?
I don't know. I need to catch up in game picks. I'm not doing too well.
Okay, that's a valid reason.
I mean, the Rams got Kyrie Williams back, though, so.
True.
So.
True that.
Yeah.
All right, we got the Niners and Eagles. This could be a very, very good game. All of us, we got 3 going San Fran, and then we got James going with Philly. Me and James said last week that Philly was overrated, but now he's back on the Philly wagon.
I wouldn't say it's the Philly wagon. I still think they're overrated, but it's like the Vikings. They find a way to win, and they'll get exposed come playoff time.
Okay.
I think Philly's a great team, but I think the 49ers are the most complete team in the NFL right now.
Absolutely.
I mean, I picked them to go to the Super Bowl for a reason.
I was so proud I was disappointed the Bills didn't win, but I was so proud they almost won after me and James took them.
It's so close.
I just wanted to be different from everyone else, and then they actually almost won.
Yeah, that was a really
amazing
good game.
All right, we got KC and the Packers on Sunday night. All of us go KC. That could actually be a decent game.
Yeah.
If the Packers are playing well, it could be a decent game.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see. And then we got the Bengals and Jags, and all of us go with the Jags against Jake Browning and the currently sad Bengals. So that does it. Now I'm going to unshare because I think, oh, wait. Here's our standings. Sam Z is in the lead at 66. Me and Big Lou are still neck and neck, just like we are in the predictions as well. Then we got James in second. Sam O is in last, but hoping to make a comeback. So with that said, I'm going to unshare. Big Lou has prepared some presents for us. It's not even Christmas yet, but we have.
Yes. Do we want to do trivia or the top 5 section first?
Up to you guys. I'll do whatever.
Top 5.
Top 5. All right. It's technically top 1, 2, 3.
You said 8, didn't you, earlier?
Yeah, top 8. And it is cornerbacks with the most sacks this season.
Say cornerbacks.
Cornerbacks.
Oh.
Okay. Interesting.
Oh my gosh.
There's 3 of them with 3 sacks and 5 of them with 2 sacks.
Trent McDuffie.
Yes. He is, well, on here number 7, but tied for 4th.
Okay. There's 1. Is Byron Murphy on there or no? I don't think Byron Murphy has a sack this year, does he?
I don't. Not to my memory.
He's not in here.
Okay. Oh my gosh, you guys might have to help me on this one.
There is a Vikings player though.
Harrison Smith.
Yep.
Please.
He's not a corner. Do you mean DBs?
DB. Oh, DBs. Okay, yeah. Let's go.
Oh,
Okay,
this,
that changes things. DBs.
This is cornerbacks with most sacks, and Harrison Smith's on here. So,
okay.
What
so
website
DBs.
is this from?
So DBs.
Yeah.
That opens it up a lot more.
Tyrann Mathieu.
I don't know if Big Lou heard you.
Jamal Adams.
no.
Really? Oh
What
my
about
gosh.
What about Josh Metellus? Is there a chance he's on there?
He's got 1.5 sacks.
Oh,
Just off.
that was a good pick though.
Who's that one Eagles safety? Reed Blankenship?
No one from the Eagles.
Dang.
Jordan Whitehead.
Nope.
Grant Delpit?
Nope.
I love how this went from corners with the most sacks to just safeties with the most sacks.
Well, I googled cornerbacks with the most sacks, and this is what popped up. So,
Greg Newsome.
no.
Denzel Ward.
No.
Jair Alexander.
Nope.
Who's that? Derwin James.
Brian Branch.
No, and no.
Oh, Brian Branch was a good guess.
I'll give you. There's 2 from the Ravens.
Kyle Hamilton.
Yep.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
got
That's kinda
3.
obvious.
Malcolm. No.
Malcolm.
Marlon Humphrey.
Marlon Humphrey?
No.
Was oh my gosh, he just got cut from the Ravens. Marcus Peters, was he on there?
No.
No. Is Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah listed as a safety or is he a linebacker?
Not on the list.
Okay, so I think he's a linebacker. I know he did like a hybrid role in college, so I was a little.
You got someone on the Seahawks, the Bucks.
That's not Jamal Adams.
Devon
Devon Witherspoon.
Yes, Devon Witherspoon.
Yeah, that gets.
So you got one guy from the Ravens, one guy from the Bucks.
Antoine Winfield.
Antoine Winfield.
Yep.
Yeah, that's.
And
why did I
then
say
you
Jamal
got,
Dean? Is Jamal Dean on there?
No.
Okay.
Then you got someone from the Titans and someone from.
Is that considered Kevin Byard?
No, 3 left are from the Ravens, the Raiders, and the Titans.
Ravens, Raiders, Titans. Gosh, I don't know any Raiders players.
I don't know any other than Kyle Hamilton. Well, at least not safeties.
Titans. Oh my gosh. I haven't watched like any Titans this year. I don't know. Anyone have any ideas?
RM are his initials.
Raheem Moore.
No. All right, so you got Roger McCreary from Tennessee.
Oh,
Trayvon Moore. I don't even know how the heck to pronounce it.
Oh, Trevon Morey.
And
Oh, yeah,
then-
he's.
oh!
And then you got Arthur Mollett from the Ravens.
Oh yeah, we were never getting.
I would have
that.
not got the Ravens guy. I'd never heard of him.
Guess Morey maybe, but
All right, now we got our trivia. So how do we
All
want to do it? 3-3-3, and then someone gets 4th?
Sure. I'm gonna take out a notebook and write some of this stuff down, but I mean, we all trust each other.
I'll grab notes on my phone.
We'll let Joel get the 4th question.
Why?
Okay.
As founder of Soul of SKOL.
Who's gonna start
Well,
it?
really, we all are, but well, not we all are.
Well, I said founder. You founded this.
Oh, I guess
You-
out of the
you-
contestants
You
today.
started from the bottom, and now we're at 100 subs.
Who's gonna start?
Oh, I can. Is
Okay.
this player still on the Vikings?
No. And the criteria is still past and present Vikings players.
Okay.
Is he a current player?
In the NFL.
Is he currently in the NFL?
He's currently in the NFL.
Wait, so how did that question order just go? I blanked out.
He's
for
not
a
on the
minute.
Vikings, and he's currently in the NFL.
Okay. But he is currently in the NFL, you say?
Yes.
Mhm.
Does this player play on offense?
Yes.
Is this player in the NFC?
Yes.
Here, I'll find the. No, not that one. That one. There we go.
Whose turn is it? My turn.
Yeah, I think so.
Is this player? Let's see. Is he an offensive skill position?
Yes.
By the way, for anyone on here that doesn't know, that's quarterback, running back, tight end, receiver. Correct?
Yep.
Yes.
So pretty much anyone but a lineman.
Yep.
Does this player wear a jersey number for said team above 15?
Yes.
Okay.
Is this player a wide receiver?
No.
Oh,
Okay, that's not who I thought.
am I allowed to make a guess yet?
Yes.
But what if I get it wrong? Do I still have to ask a question, right?
Yes, you still
Yes,
get to ask
but
a question.
You don't get a
after.
guess in the final round until they both get a guess.
Okay.
They don't get
I'm gonna take a shot at it. Is it Amir Abdullah?
no.
Where the heck does he even play?
I'm gonna actually S Amir Abdullah. I'll just look him up.
I can look it up while you guys.
Last time I thought he was a Raider.
Is he a Raider? I thought he was on the Lions again. I don't know. Maybe I'm.
I remember him with Vegas, but I have no idea.
How do you spell it?
Ameer. Is this player in the NFC South?
1 second. Yes.
Oh, I think I know who it is.
I believe he's currently Amir Abdullah is currently with the Raiders.
Okay. I thought he was in the NFC for some reason. I'm stupid. I think I know who this is now, though.
Dang it.
How many questions is that?
That's 8, I think.
Okay. 2 more.
Let me think about this here. I'm gonna say, let's think here. Let's think. I have a potential. Should I just rip the Band-Aid off and do it?
Yeah.
Okay, I have no idea where this player is playing, so this is kind of a shot in the dark. Is it Latavius Murray?
No.
Well, because you have Latavius Murray. Wait, did you say AFC or NFC South?
NFC South.
I didn't know where Latavius Murray even played anymore.
He's a Bill.
Okay, he just came to mind. Okay, so I still get another question, but I can't guess until you guys do first. So my question is going to be, is this player on the depth chart, are they listed number 1?
Oh, 1 second.
Or a starter, I should say.
They are not a starter.
Okay. Yeah.
If
I think
it's
I know who
any
this is.
merit, they are listed 3rd.
And we said he was not a wide receiver, right?
Not a wide receiver.
So now,
I have a guess.
so I think, so Matt gets to guess first since we both did already.
Is this player Cordero Patterson?
Yes.
That's who I was thinking. That's what
Yep.
That's when I got it wrong. I'm like,
How did I blank out so hard on him?
Cordero.
Cordero Patterson
Is he listed?
tied the longest kick return touchdown in NFL history.
He's running back 3.
I was going to say, is he listed as a running
He's
back
running
now?
back. Yeah, he is
Yeah.
listed as a running back.
Oh, man. So that's Matt's first ever win. I have no idea what color this is.
I guess I'm purple.
Oh, found it. See, I'm colorblind, guys. It's not that easy for me.
It's an excuse my dad makes all the time.
Is he colorblind?
He says he is. I don't know
Nah, I
if it's
call
true or
bogus.
not.
No way he is. He can know I said that. I don't believe it. I'll believe it when I see evidence.
I don't have evidence either, so I'm with you.
All right. So that's that. I believe that's all we have. Is that correct?
That's all I got.
Perfect. Anyone else got any last thoughts, or is that'll do it for this?
No, I'm good.
So as a reminder, the Vikings don't play this weekend, so we will not be having a post-game episode this weekend, but we will have, at least we're planning on having another episode next week, Wednesday. We'll do more picks and predictions. We'll look into the Vikings game coming up against the Raiders for week number 14. But with that said, that is going to do it for this one. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a good night. Peace out. And as always, SKOL Vikings.
SKOL Vikings.
We will see you guys next week on Wednesday. Not Monday, on Wednesday. See you guys.